Daydreaming. Your mind drifts while the world insists on focus. Thoughts wander into abstract landscapes, scenarios that exist only in your imagination. This weird habit is a signature of intelligence, a subconscious rehearsal for creativity, problem-solving, and pattern recognition. You notice connections invisible to others, synthesizing fragments of knowledge into something new. Each lapse is not laziness. It is an incubation chamber for insight, a quiet engine of cognition humming beneath the surface. You realize that wandering thought can be a map to hidden mental territories, unexplored and fertile. Talking to yourself. You mutter under your breath, rehearse dialogue, clarify ideas aloud. This weird habit reveals intelligence in action, a dialogue between internal logic and external expression. You articulate complex problems, test hypotheses, and witness the refinement of thought in real time. It is a private laboratory, your voice scaffolding the architecture of ideas. You notice clarity emerging from sound, structure from murmurs, and strategy from whispers. Every soliloquy is a negotiation with your own cognition. Procrastination. You delay, linger, avoid the task at hand. It is a weird habit paradoxically tied to intelligence, a sign of a mind that evaluates, simulates, and anticipates outcomes before committing. You build invisible mental models while appearing idle, rehearsing failures and mapping contingencies. Each delay is calculated, unconscious, a rehearsal space for strategy. You understand that creativity often needs gestation, that insight comes not from frantic action but from mental wandering. Procrastination becomes a stealthy collaborator, a hidden cognitive amplifier. Obsessive note-taking, pens, journals, digital apps, you capture the ephemeral. This weird habit signals intelligence by converting fleeting impressions into analyzable data. You encode, cross-reference, and return to patterns only your mind perceives. Notes become a web of connections, a personal database fueling insight, memory, and foresight. You feel the thrill of assembling fragments into a mosaic, each observation a potential revelation. The act itself is both ritual and scaffolding, a practice of structured cognition disguised as habit. Fidgeting. Your foot taps, hands twist, pens roll endlessly. It is a weird habit, often misread as distraction, but in reality, a sign of intelligence. Your mind accelerates faster than your body can follow, and fidgeting is the overflow, a kinetic rhythm syncing thought to motion. You notice patterns more vividly, ideas flow in bursts, focus sharpens under the guise of restless energy. Movement is not random. It is a signal of processing power, a motorized companion to thought. The nervous system becomes a metronome for abstract reasoning, and chaos manifests as insight. Listening to music while thinking. You overlay melodies on cognition, letting notes thread between neural pathways. This weird habit reveals intelligence, exploiting emotion and rhythm to enhance focus, memory, and abstract reasoning. Music stimulates the brain's predictive circuits, invoking patterns, analogies, and connections. You realize that creativity often thrives at the intersection of sensory input and intellectual processing. Every chord is a prompt, every rhythm a scaffold, every crescendo a call to discovery. You learn that the mind can orchestrate thought in symphony, translating emotion into reasoning. Overanalyzing. You dissect gestures, words, equations, and probabilities. This weird habit signals intelligence, a relentless curiosity dissecting the world into its constituent truths. Patterns, inconsistencies, hidden causes, nothing escapes scrutiny. You feel the mental friction of multiple layers, the tension between detail and abstraction. Analysis becomes a map, revealing how complexity can be untangled, predicted, and mastered. Even what seems trivial to others is a universe of potential insight under your gaze. Collecting unusual objects. Pens, stamps, rocks, notes, diagrams. A cabinet of curiosities grows around you. This weird habit reflects intelligence, a mind attuned to patterns, history, and significance. Each item holds symbolic value, a mnemonic anchor, or a piece of a conceptual puzzle. You see the world as a system, where fragments of data acquire power when assembled thoughtfully. Objects are not clutter. They are nodes in a network of insight, each contributing to cognitive resonance. You understand that curiosity leaves traces, and collecting is a silent meditation on connectivity. Talking to strangers. You initiate conversation without clear purpose, probing minds unknown. This weird habit signals intelligence, a tool for gathering perspective, testing hypotheses about human behavior, and cultivating social insight. Every dialogue is data, every expression a variable, every response a feedback loop. You recognize that understanding others accelerates your own cognitive map, revealing emergent patterns in society. Interaction becomes a laboratory, and the world itself is a testbed for mental exploration. Lying or bending truth. You twist reality subtly, sparingly, to observe consequences. This weird habit can correlate with intelligence, demonstrating the ability to model beliefs, anticipate responses, and navigate social dynamics. You simulate multiple realities, calculating outcomes before reality enforces them. Every misdirection is a probe into perception, a cognitive experiment unfolding in real time. You realize that ethical boundaries define this as dangerous territory, but the skill itself is a mirror of social reasoning and foresight. Staying up late. You linger in the quiet hours, alone with thought. This weird habit reflects intelligence, when abstract processing and creativity peak during isolation. The mind exploits silence, leveraging circadian flexibility to explore connections unnoticed by day-bound schedules. Ideas coalesce, hypotheses form, and reflections deepen under the cloak of darkness. You notice how the brain uncovers subtle patterns when distractions are absent. Late-night thought becomes a portal to cognitive edges, revealing landscapes unreachable in daylight. Overscheduling or time obsession. You plan, allocate, micromanage every block. This weird habit signals intelligence, an awareness of scarcity and leverage of temporal resources. Even in obsession, strategy emerges. Priorities are tested, contingencies rehearsed, and execution refined. You feel the pulse of efficiency and foresight encoded in every calendar entry. Time becomes data, life becomes optimization, and structure becomes a scaffold for creative exploration. Reading randomly or obsessively. You devour books, articles, papers, tangents, and footnotes. This weird habit reflects intelligence, an appetite for cross-domain knowledge, patterns, and analogical thinking. Connections emerge from the chaotic intake, revealing insights invisible to linear minds. Curiosity drives accumulation, and synthesis produces innovation. You see the world as a network of interlinked ideas, each node enriched by the idiosyncrasies of your habit. Repetitive gestures. While thinking, you drum fingers, twirl hair, or doodle endlessly. This weird habit is not mere nervousness. It reveals intelligence, a sensoromotor interface enhancing focus and abstract processing. Rhythmic repetition anchors the mind, allowing complex calculations, pattern recognition, or creative ideation to flow unobstructed. You discover that movement is cognitive lubricant, converting thought into visible rhythm. Each gesture is a conduit, a silent signal of your internal mental machinery at work. Pacing, while thinking. You walk back and forth in tight loops in random patterns. This weird habit is a window into intelligence, a kinesthetic extension of thought. Your brain engages movement to process complex ideas, syncing motor rhythm with cognition. Each step recalibrates focus, clarifies reasoning, and structures abstract problems. You feel the invisible feedback between footfalls and neural activity, a bridge between mind and body. The floor beneath becomes a grid, mapping ideas as you traverse it. Obsessive cleanliness or organization. You arrange, sort, and reorder, even when unnecessary. This weird habit reveals intelligence, an instinct to create patterns from chaos. Every object, every note, every workspace is a reflection of mental architecture. The act is not vanity, it is rehearsal, optimization, and preparation for efficiency. Your environment mirrors cognition, each adjustment tuning perception and decision-making. Order becomes an externalized thought process, a scaffolding for insight. Chewing or tapping objects. You chew pens, tap surfaces, or play with tools absent-mindedly. This weird habit signals intelligence, a subtle method for concentration and neural engagement. The repetitive stimulus anchors attention, reduces cognitive friction, and primes the mind for analytical leaps. You notice ideas flow faster when fingers move, teeth gnaw, or objects click. It is as if the nervous system demands tactile rhythm to orchestrate thought. Your body becomes an instrument, your mind the composer, and the weird habit the score. Talking to animals or inanimate objects. You whisper to your dog, your plant, even your desk. This weird habit hints at intelligence, empathy, and projection, a method to test communication and theory. You externalize questions and observe reactions, gaining insights indirectly. Every response, even imagined, is a feedback loop refining hypotheses. The world becomes interactive, a laboratory where every object is data and every conversation is experiment. Extreme curiosity. You question everything, doubt authority, dissect instructions. This weird habit signals intelligence, a relentless drive to uncover underlying principles. No answer is final. Every assertion is a launchpad for further inquiry. You feel the thrill of exploration in micro-decisions and in grand theories alike. Your questions are maps, each one tracing pathways unseen by ordinary minds. Curiosity becomes the engine, habit the steering wheel, and insight the destination. Rapid topic switching. You jump from subject to subject, idea to idea, thought to thought. This weird habit reveals intelligence, a mind constructing bridges between seemingly unrelated concepts. Connections emerge in leaps rather than steps. Creativity accelerates, and originality thrives. You recognize the chaos of thought as structured opportunity, the mental dance of synthesis and analogy. Rapid switching is a mechanism for discovery, a cheat code for pattern recognition at scale. Laughing at own jokes. You smile or chuckle before anyone else does. This weird habit reflects intelligence, signaling self-awareness, metacognition, and internal reward calibration. You test humor, gauge perspective, and assess social dynamics internally before external validation. Every chuckle is a rehearsal, a processing of social prediction, and an algorithm for human interaction. You notice the subtle power in predicting yourself, a mind reading its own signals in real time. Fictional scenario simulation. You imagine alternate realities, what-if scenarios, entire worlds inside your head. This weird habit is a hallmark of intelligence, the mental laboratory for problem-solving and creativity. You explore consequences without consequence, test morality, strategy, and prediction in thought experiments. Every simulation strengthens reasoning, emotional foresight, and pattern recognition. The world is a sandbox, your imagination the engine, and the habit a cheat code unlocking insight. Hyper-observation. You notice minor details, posture, tone, pattern, nuance. This weird habit reveals intelligence, a mind attuned to subtlety and inference. The smallest cues become data. The unnoticed becomes critical. You decode intentions, predict reactions, and map relationships from microsignals. Observation is both weapon and tool, a cheat code in reading complexity where others see randomness. Humming or repetitive sound. You hum, tap, or repeat a rhythm while thinking. This weird habit signals intelligence, aiding focus and internal simulation. Auditory rhythm stabilizes neural oscillation, enhancing calculation, memory, and creativity. Your body and mind synchronize through vibration and cadence. The simple act becomes a lever, a hidden accelerator for mental performance. Collecting strange facts. You remember trivia, obscure histories, or patterns no one asked for. This weird habit reflects intelligence, a mind storing nodes for future synthesis. Connections emerge from randomness. Analogies form from perceived chaos. Your mental library becomes a web of insight, ready to solve problems unpredictably. Every fact is a potential key, a cheat code for understanding systems and ideas.